My dad was a staunch conservative throughout my lifetime, and it really hurt him when he discovered that my sympathies were drifting farther and farther to the left over the years. But we never let those differences get between us. Just before the 2004 presidential election, my dad was beginning to struggle with diabetes and breathing issues and heart trouble. And his third-floor condominium didn't have an elevator, so he started to have difficulty getting around, and well, I was 2,000 miles away, so I couldn't be of any help. One day on the phone, he said to me, "Danny, as important as this election is to me, I just don't think I'm going to be able to vote this year. I have too much trouble getting up and down stairs and then having to drive. It's just too much." I was heartsick. "Listen," I told him, "I still have friends in the area. I can find somebody that can drive you to the polls, or if they can't, they can find somebody who can. In the meantime, let me try to get you a proxy vote so that you can vote by mail, just in case it's not too late." There was a stunned silence on the other end of the phone. "Danny," he said, "you do realize that my vote is just basically going to cancel yours out." Well, now it was my turn to be stunned to silence. I said, "Dad, what difference does that make? Sure, I hope my side wins, but not at the expense of sick and old people who can't make it to the polls. Listen, your franchise is important, and I want you to have a chance to be able to vote your conscience. You deserve to have your voice heard." You know, in the 6 months we had left together before he passed away, I don't think my dad ever challenged my politics again after that. Yes, I'd love to try to convince everybody to vote the way that I think is right. I mean, the whole purpose of this campaign is for me to try to persuade you to do just that. But at the end of the day, whether you vote with my side or against it, please just exercise your franchise and get out and vote your conscience. Think of all the legislation that will come up for debate over the next 2 years, as the president, no longer burdened by having to look good for the next election, tries to cement a legacy for himself by getting as much done as possible. They'll likely have to appoint at least one Supreme Court justice in that time, which alone could color how law is interpreted for the next generation. And there'll be critical legislation on important issues like women's health and reproduction, immigration reform, revamping our failing educational system, reducing our deficit and debt, how many wars we declare and fight, whether or not we continue the failed war on drugs, what gun control law will look like, to what degree our privacy and free speech will be challenged by everything from the NSA to the local police precinct. The direction we go as a nation on each of these issues depends directly on how this election goes. There are more than enough seats up for grabs in the Senate and in the House of Representatives to sway majority control firmly to the right or to the left. And the direction that they go depends on not only how you vote, but if you vote. Look, it's okay to get it wrong, to vote somebody in who disappoints you later. It's okay to vote your heart. I hope that you vote your head after taking in everything that I have to say here. But it's not okay to just sit back and do nothing and hope for the best. Apathy wins you nothing. You have to make your voice heard. You have to tell Washington that you're not going to let a bunch of insanely rich people just buy political offices while you still have a voice. You have to get out and vote. And voting in this November's election could well change not just the country, but the world, the very course of our history as a civilization. So please, give me a chance to convince you. And if I do, come election day, go out and convince everyone you know, and get them out.